Under Siege 2.
This I'm trained for.
Welcome back to the show. Under Siege 2. Yeah, we're talking about a Steven Seagal movie here. So, now, I actually like this movie. I know Steven Seagal kind of gets a lot of bad reputation, a lot of laughable stuff he's done, and I'm not saying that his recent movies, within, say, the last several years have been, it's somewhat decent. No, they're almost, I think if he put a little bit more effort into it, it would probably be better. But we're talking about Under Siege 2, Dark Territory, all right? This is a really neat movie. It came out in 1995. I must say, I have this, thing about train movies. I like train movies, like The Great Train Robbery, Murder on the Orient Express, those type of things. They're just something, really, to me, this interesting about them. The fact that, especially if they're done right. And to me, this one is kind of done right. So, I think why this one also kind of works in a sense for me is because it kind of almost is a throwback a little bit to the style of Out for Justice. Let me explain that to you a little bit. It's not a movie where it's an hour and a half of your action star going around and doing unrealistic, insane things. So, and I think that's a key thing about some of these movies is it a point where it's unrealistic. For instance, you're not going to go in. It's not where you got some guy taking on an entire army and just getting almost invincible. Throughout the movie, it's these terrorists, they take over the train. And, of course, the storyline, the terrorists take over something and they weren't expecting the one, dude that was, we weren't expecting this Navy SEAL, there's counter-terrorist guy, kind of a thing. So the storyline is, of course, there's nothing oh my gosh, this is something I've never heard of before. But no. They take over the train. They got ulterior motives, obviously death and destruction, and of course money. But also you have one of the coolest villains, I think, and I've always loved his work. Especially this is all the way dating back to the very early '90s, watching Joe Bob Briggs' Monster Vision. We're talking about Everett McGill. Everett McGill is such an awesome villain, bad guy dude. The People Under the Stairs, Silver Bullet, those are the ones that stood out for me. Those are the ones that I really like. Of course, he played the real jerk in Heartbreak Ridge with Clint Eastwood, but really, to me, like I said, the Silver Bullet, the werewolf movie, and the People Under the Stairs. So Everett McGill really does play that good character like that. And this one, he plays this, he's a military guy turned rogue, bad dude. Really fits the part really well. Love the way he carries himself. Even the guy that plays Dane in it, the main geek hacker guy that used to work for the government, but now he's turned tail and he's doing bad things, terroristic things, using a weapon in the sky called Grazer 1 to basically inflict destruction and death upon everybody and doing all this stuff. And so it's kind of got that geeky thing going on there, played by Eric Bogosin. I'm probably butchering his name, but anyway, he plays his character well too. So I think that's also there's nobody really in it that I really like. Usually, sometimes with a movie, I'll despise a character, or I'm I just can't stand this character, so it kind of ruins the movie. This is not one of them, at least for me. Morris Chestnut, he does an okay job. He's not totally irritating, although he plays kind of a screwball, goofy kind of a character. But you know, you can tell he's like trying to add like humor to this movie, but I mean, it's not over the top or to the point where it's just like ruins the movie for me. So, and then you got a very early performance by Katherine Heigl. It's like her very like really a breakthrough thing for her. I think she was like, I don't know, like probably 16, 17 years old when she did this movie. So interesting stuff. And of course, you know, terrorists take over the train and they weren't expecting Casey Ryback, played by Steven Seagal. So now I think it's a little bit better. I enjoy the film more than Under Siege, the first one, where it was just on the boat. Although I, you know, grew up a lot with Under Siege, the first one. I watched it a lot. I had it on videotape, and you know, my parents and my brother and I, my grandma, we watched that quite often. But I think I find myself watching Under Siege 2 a lot more. I think it's really neat. Also, he picks up a really neat 45 pistol, like an original kind of style 1911, which was really cool. So. Again, back to why I think the movie is, in a sense, better because, again, he's not a guy that's running around doing too outlandish things, I would say. I mean, there's some scenes where I'm not, you know, like I shouldn't, hot wiring a car in a matter of seconds, driving it down a rickety road and jumping off onto the top of the train. But he's not like going around through the whole thing. Just completely blowing away everybody and all that kind of stuff. He's kind of, for the first part of the movie, he's kind of, he's trying to remain covered. He doesn't want to let them know right away that he's on board this train. Finally, when they do get wind that he's on this train, usually the encounters with the bad guys end very quickly. He usually, either judos them up or shoots them up, and doing what Steven Seagal does. But like I said, again, what I really like about it and why I like Out for Justice, I kind of refer to that one and this one, is because Out for Justice, yeah, there's a lot of action along the way, but it's more like this, he's lurking around, he's doing this thing, he's moving through. The whole movie is not just cram-packed with him just beating the snot out of everybody and shooting everything up. So he's kind of going around doing his stuff, and then when the action kind of hits, like there's a scene where he finally starts taking and attacking the terrorists in these cars. The action is really cool. It's really fast. He's not firing a million bullets out of his gun that should only hold 7 shots or something like that. So I didn't get that feeling of it. So that was kind of cool, and it kind of shows him obtaining his pistol from his personal effects that he brought on board. Meanwhile, Everett McGill is finally aware now who Casey Ryback is, and they're doing the same old stuff like, oh, Casey Ryback's on that train, oh, we're safe, kind of thing. But Everett McGill, again, I like his villainous character. I like how throughout the film it gets you in that motion like, wow, I can't wait till they actually meet, and the inevitable some sort of fight. So very much like Under Siege, where Tommy Lee Jones's character finally meets up with him, and of course the inevitable fight. So in a sense, it's a rehash of that, but I think it's a little bit better. Honestly, I enjoyed the fight with him and Everett McGill more than I enjoyed the one off of Under Siege. So, and he kind of has this really, it's almost funny because the first encounter, he throws him through a table or something, and he gets up and you can tell he kind of he's kind of like, wow, that guy's actually pretty tough, or something and he's like, good morning or something. And it's like, what the heck is that supposed to even mean? And they continue fighting, and he slashes his coat, and he's like, man, you ruined my coat. So, and you can tell as the fight progresses, it escalates really quickly, and the bad guy, played by Everett McGill, I think his name is, what the heck is his name in it? I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank here now. But he's sitting there, and let's see if we can look it up, because this is gonna bother me. Who does he play? Marcus Penn. That's what his bad guy name is in it. He plays the character Marcus Penn. So as the fight escalates, you can tell he's like getting. You can tell he's like, he does a good job of like getting worried, looking like, I'm not gonna make it out of this. I'm probably gonna die. So anyway, I like that. It's that's really cool. So the movie's really interesting. I like how the train thing, and I like kind of almost like the darkness feeling of it. So, and a lot of other movies have kind of capitalized on this. One that kind of does the whole train bit, and it's a kind of like to me, like a rip off of a lot of it. Although it's a halfway decent movie, is The Commuter with Liam Neeson. But I really like the Under Siege 2 Dark Territory. I think it did a better job of like that kind of ruckus on the train, action movie on the train. It's one of the ones that to me stand out far as those train movies go. I really liked it. Like I said, really good stuff, and I like the action in it, because to me the action wasn't so over the top where it was like, yeah, right. I mean, this guy's not going to jump off the wing of a 747, hit a freeway that's like crumbling apart because of explosions, rolls around, and then jumps on a semi truck, and then ties a rope around his neck or something. I mean, it's not so like ridiculously crazy. It's almost. Some of it's like, no, like that part when he's like, I think the only really kind of outlandish part that sticks out in my head, at least, is like I said, when he hot wires that car, chasing down the train, and jumps on top of the roof of the train. That's the only part I was like, I guess it could be done, but this guy's also, mind you, running around in cowboy boots. You notice that too. Steven Seagal is running around the movie with cowboy boots on. So I don't know about jumping off that ledge like that onto the top of the train in cowboy boots with that like 5-inch heel that's on those things. So anyway, there you go. A little chat and a little talk about Under Siege 2 Dark Territory. Like I said, I do like the movie. I enjoyed it.